Okay. Oh, hey guys. The workshop is about to start, so I hope everyone has a questionnaire and a pen if you want to participate. Also, if you want to meet your own ghosts during the workshop and hopefully make a love connection or something else, you can download one of these two apps. They both talk if you turn the sound up. And of course, this is for consenting ghosts over 18 only. All right, thank you so much for being here. I'm Alison Tharp. I recognize a lot of you from my other workshops, which is so nice. So this one is, first we're going to do a... can you turn that down, sweetie? Just a little bit? Can't let people know. This is a workshop that'll last a few minutes about the inspiration for the show. So if some of you've bought pieces or seen my work before, it's strongly influenced by supernatural and paranormal things. I was raised in a haunted house, and it had a huge influence on my art and my life. I've been a paranormal investigator for most of my life, and only dating ghosts for probably the last 8 weeks. But I decided that I was an expert, and I made this workshop so that you could all hopefully enjoy some of the pleasures of paranormal dating that I have. So the picture on the front is me with our live-in ghosts. My husband and I have a ghost that lives with us that we met online. And so if you have the iOvilus, which is the ghost dating app, turn the sound all the way up, and hopefully you can make a connection with the ghost, which will now haunt your phone. So let's see, what will I start with? So I'm just going to read through the questionnaire, and you guys can decide if you want to answer yes or no. Sweetie, will you turn it down? I think I can't hear. Thank you. We thought we would have some French porno music to entice the ghosts to come out, but it's actually too loud and I can't concentrate.
It's scaring them away.
It's scaring me. Okay, so we're just going to read through it, and you guys can answer yes or no. And then after that, I will go through and talk about some of my work and the techniques that I used and answer any questions that you guys will have. So let's start. So this is Normalizing Paranormal Non-Monogamy for the beginner, assuming you all are beginners. However, some of you might not be. Is there anybody else who's dated ghosts in the room before? No?
What if you're not sure?
If you're not sure, that's totally fine. You're just ghost curious. That's fine. And does anybody identify as ghost curious? 2 people, 3? That's really good. I'm so glad you guys are here. You're so in the right place. This is a safe space to share. Okay, so let's see. Are you ready to invite a ghost into your primary relationship? Maybe you're just ghost curious and you'd like to learn more about yourself in the paranormal dating world. Please answer honestly yes or no to each question. So I'm sure you guys have seen ghost hunting TV shows. Usually when they hunt the ghosts afterward, when they find them, they leave. But I don't leave. I stay after the ghost hunt, and I ask, what are you doing for the rest of the night? And that's kind of where it started. So let's see. So let's go for the first one. Let's just start. Do you feel envious when someone complains about their house being haunted? And some of these questions are going to help you kind of identify if you're ready for ghosts, for non-monogamy with the spirits. If you answered yes to this question, you might consider buying a haunted house on purpose. I have a realtor, if you're interested. He's very, very good. I can recommend him. And that enviousness, that'll say something about whether or not you're ready. Okay, so number 2. This is important. The Ouija board is the Tinder of the afterlife. Would you be willing to try online ghost dating? Can you answer yes or no? I'm going to just show you if you haven't seen a Ouija board before. You can also play Ghost Twister with this. It's a lot of fun. So answer yes or no. And you've turned on your iOvuluses. Has everybody got the iOvulus on? Anybody getting any hits on it? Does anybody have any words yet? Any ghost connections? So far, I'm not getting any of mine. You got to keep the app open so otherwise it'll shut off. But if anybody gets any hits or you hear anything, just raise your hand and see if you're making a connection. Okay. Okay, so number 3, feeling a presence, getting goosebumps, hearing noises, hearing voices, lights turning off and on by themselves are all things you fantasize about. And you don't have to share this with anybody else. You can cover your paper so people can't see. These are all things that happened to me when I was younger in my home. And so I mention these things because later on, when I was older, it changed, These were things I liked instead of things that I was afraid of. So this is kind of where this has started. So answer yes or no. Number 4, you and your partner have openly discussed inviting a third party into your relationship, but you don't really like people. One of the women in my workshop said that this is a lot less complicated than a person. You can just think about that. Just think about it. No, you don't have to make any choices right now. A lot of the work in the gallery is about this. So when we go and do a little tour at the end, I'll explain some of the techniques, but also some of the inspiration, and you'll see that the non-monogamy of the ghost, is prominent. So 5, hypothetically, and this is where it's going to get a little complicated. Hypothetically, the ghost you're dating wants more of your time than you can give it. You feel like it's being needy. Can you set healthy boundaries? Be honest, that's a yes or no question. Can you set those healthy boundaries? Because ghosts can be needy. They can. They can haunt different things like your TV or your phone or different electronics. So after we finish the workshop, you'll all want to cleanse your phones because your ghost might hang out in there for the foreseeable future. Number 6, after a few dates, your ghost asks to meet your friends. Is this okay? And if not, ask yourself why. Would you introduce your ghost to your friends? Some of you are not sure. Some of you, yes? Yes, for sure, yes. It's wonderful. That's great. Okay, number 7. You're really hitting it off with the ghost on your dating app. Suddenly you realize they're looking for a long-term haunting. You're not even close to being ready for that kind of a commitment. Can you be honest even if the ghost cries? Is anybody getting any hits on their eye ovilus? What kind of words are coming up?
Prayer and bacon.
Prayer and bacon. They're praying for bacon. The morning after. That one's single and ready to mingle.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Who else is getting hits on their eye ovilus? Nobody? This is wild. Oh my God. That's special too. They're not very good communicators, you guys, so we have to really work on, stretching that word to mean as whatever you want it to mean. Okay, number 8. This is a difficult one. This was hard for me to write, actually, because it's close to home. But I'm going to be really honest and with you guys, because there's a lot of trust in this room. Okay, your partner started dating an adorable ghost. You like, thank you. You like this ghost, but find yourself increasingly jealous. After a month of social media stalking, you find the ghost has great style, lots of friends, does charity work, and even haunts local libraries. This is intimidating and intriguing. You make the conscious choice. You make the conscious choice to get the same haircut the ghost has, and then you look at their Instagram 10 times a day.
Sounds unhealthy.
Okay, that's a yes or no question. Okay, number 9. These are my feelings. Number 9, and this is our final question. Your perfect date would be a picnic in the graveyard, followed by a few hours in a cheap motel with an EMF detector, a 2-liter of Diet Pepsi, and your dream ghost using the white noise from the static on the TV to talk dirty like they do. Yes or no? It's confusing for people. It's okay. It's okay to not know. You can also leave it blank for later. Okay, really wonderful, you guys. This is great. Okay, so if you got mostly no, you're curious but not ready for an actual haunted relationship. Play the field, electromagnetic field, and be open-minded to you may find paranormal friendships are more your style. And if you got mostly yes, there are a lot of different ways to have relationships these days. Paranormal non-monogamy comes naturally to you. Your love of ghosts is obvious. You're ready to take your relationship to a new level. Science may not be able to prove the existence of a ghostgasm, but you know they exist. Thank you very much. So I hope that shed a little light, maybe open your mind a little bit to these possibilities. And yeah, thank you. Do I have any questions about paranormal non-monogamy or ghost dating?
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you set boundaries with the ghost?
That's a really good question. And like people, you can just, paranormal investigating and ghost dating is like, if you leave the payphone off the hook at the BART station, you're going to get anybody just picking it up and answering. But if you intentionally throw a party at your house and inviting the ghosts that you want, you'll get some really single sexy ghosts coming because that's who you invited. And if they just usher them out if they don't have good boundaries and be like, okay, bye. That's how I do it. Any others? Yes, ma'am.
Aren't they kind of hard to see?
They can be very hard to see. That's why we need infrared cameras. I mean, here's an example of some photographic evidence in our home of this ghost that was caught on camera. You don't want to sit on them. Sometimes you do. They're all and this one's in my kitchen, and it likes to break dishes. They also like to pull your socks off, as was described in the pamphlet. Great questions. Anybody else? No.
Have you ever had any issues breaking it off with the ghost and just not
Absolutely.
getting the hint?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
No, I can't. I'm still working on that one. I'm sorry. I've only been doing this for 8 weeks.
So you gotta be careful what you get into.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful what you say. If you invite them home, make sure that they know that they can't stay. Otherwise, they will make themselves at home and stay there.
Can they do revenge porn on you?
Oh God, no. They can't use the computer. They just can live in it.
Okay.
They sleep in there. Anybody else? Okay, that's great. Let's move on. So yeah, let's talk about some of the paintings. I wanted to say thank you everybody for coming and for seeing the show and being supportive of my work. I wanted to know if there's any questions before I start describing it. Is there anything anyone has pressing that they want to know? No? Okay.
Real quick, I noticed you have some photographs on your handout here.
Yes.
Of you interacting with the ghosts. Are those hard to come by? Is that why you've chosen this as your medium?
The photographs or the ghosts?
Your art, your actual art. Is this because of your lack of ability to photograph them?
Sometimes, yeah. And another reason that I brought this up, the way it ties in, is that I've used a lot of I've used generator apps, these ghost apps, to make the art. It ties in because I use a lot of controlled randomness in my work. If I don't know what color I'm going to use, I'll pick an app to kind of help me with that, or I'll use the ghost app to kind of guide me along for the next step if I can't. It's like rolling the dice or picking a tarot card or something like that. But I like the apps on the phone. And I use the horse race generator app to name all the pieces. So they have unusual names because I use that app to name all of them. It's a lot of fun, the racehorse generator app. It's delightful. And so that's a lot of the ways that I work. Most of the work I've done in this have been prints. I've used this thing over here. That's the large printing press that we have at the studio to do all of the work. It's mixed media work, but mostly, where did that big piece go? Oh, Don's going to hand me this one piece, which I'll explain some of the techniques. All of the pieces are different kinds of hauntings. And so this is one, sorry about the plastic. I want to explain some of this. This paranormal dating has been going on for centuries. This is not new. These are some nuns, and they're interacting with these cute demons here that come through the window of the church. And they're friends, just friends. There's one up here. There's different layering techniques I use called shin collé. This is tissue paper that's been run through the press and wheat pasted on so I can print right on top of it. This tissue paper, these blocks of color, are printed right on top of that. There's pencil, there's mixed media with this. So this piece is pretty complicated. All these are like little swirling demons and stuff used with red transfer paper. Another way that I like to work with randomness is to draw on transfer paper on different parts of the piece and then pull it off, and I don't know what's going to happen. It's like a different printmaking technique. I like to not know what's going to happen with my work. I don't plan it ahead very much. I kind of have a theme like the ghosts and paranormal and sexual themes in the work for this show, and then just kind of go for it. Some of the pieces turned out well, some of them didn't, but I like to not know what's going to happen. Just like this workshop where I didn't know how you guys would respond to this or what would come up on your eye ovaluses. And so that's one piece I did. This is another one. This is another printmaking technique that I use. It's a monotype where I ink a piece of glass, I turn the paper down, and then draw on the back. It's another way that I don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be the reverse, but I have no idea how the lines are going to turn out. I have no idea what's going to register and what isn't. And I have an example of that. This is what it looks like. Say this is face down on a inked glass, and I just draw on the back like this. I have no idea how it's going to turn out, and then it looks like that. So my handprints are on there. You know, the ink registered differently. The paper, the grain of the paper turned out how it turned out, and then I kind of just painted on top of it. So lots of the work is very playful, and it's very fun for me to work this way. I really enjoy doing it. Here's another example of a haunting. We have a TV ghost with like a kiwi bird riding on it. Then there's two acrobatic ghosts sharing a TV head. TV heads feature prominently in the show because when I was a child, what I thought was the spirits would turn the TV on and off and even unplugged. It was very scary as a little kid. They like to play with electronics, in my experience. So you'll see a lot of TVs and people coming out of TVs and things like that. And I've had dreams where people who have passed away come out of TV sets, almost like the characters that are freed from a TV show. And that's happened several times. So that's an image that I have in a lot of my work in the show. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I've said or any of my work? Yes, ma'am.
What kind of printing process was the last one? Was that a plate or was that a monotype?
Oh, that's a really good question. The bottom one is a lithograph done from a plastic sheet. It's called a pronto print. And then, that's a really good question, I ran it through the press again to get the other technique. So it's two prints layered on top of each other. Thanks for asking that. And it's got the chincolle, the tissue paper technique also on there. So a lot of my pieces have been run through the press several times with different layers of materials on them. So you'll see that in there, a lot of different colors and materials, and then sometimes I'll draw on top, so it gets a lot of texture and layers and colors. Thanks for asking. Anybody else?
Is printmaking your preferred medium these days?
Yeah, I mostly do printmaking these days and acrylic painting. Yeah.
How long have you been printmaking?
I've been at the compound almost 10 years now. And I started here etching, doing copper plate etching, and then I kind of transitioned to monotypes on plexiglass. So about 10 years, I suppose. It's crazy how long it's been. Yeah, thanks for asking.
When you do the outside scenes, are you thinking of a particular place?
Yeah, the most of them take place in the desert, usually Phoenix and New Mexico. Yeah, I don't know why. I just like deserts. Anybody else? Oh, yes.
Can you talk about the ceramics a little?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, got a hit. Thanks for asking. Yeah, the ceramics are all done on stoneware. I didn't create them myself. I painted on them. And they are all they were intended to be really colorful scenes of life after death to celebrate people that have passed. And hopefully, if someone buys them, they can put a loved one inside who needs a final resting place. They're actually intended for that. But otherwise, you can use flowers, or you can put like pens and pencils and other things, or a succulent in there. But if you do put a loved one in, you have to wrap them in plastic. Apparently, they solidify if they get moisture on them. It's true. Otherwise, and then you need to seal it. But that's what they were. That's what they're for. They're colorful, and there's different characters. Usually a parade is happening or some kind of a celebration, like an ending for those, kind of like for the Day of the Dead, and also just for people that have passed away.
Where do you get the forms?
They are here at the Compound Gallery. They were made by another artist. And we've had them in storage, and I just painted on them recently.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. If there are no more questions, we can go out to the gallery and do a quick tour of the pieces,
Great.
and then we'll call it. How's the timing?
We're good. We're
Oh,
like 20
good.
minutes in. That's fine. Cool. Yeah, let's stroll up to the front, you guys.
It's good timing. Good. Oh, good. Solid?